Anna Terreno. Sorry, Anna, for my pronunciation. Anna is the president of the Confagricultura farmers organization in Italy. And I suppose your area of expertise, Anna, is in agriculture science and carbon farming. And we'd invite you to present your presentation on how is carbon farming perceived by farmers. So over to you, Anna.
Thank you, David. Just to precise, I'm the president of the local farmers union, Confagricultura, for the province of Vicenza. And I've been involved in no-till associated with cover crops and crop rotations since probably 20 years ago. So that's where I developed some of my expertise. Here's my presentation, and can you see it?
Yes, we can see
okay,
the picture. Yep, perfect.
So I was taught to be to talk about two different subjects.
Sorry to cut across you, Anna. Is it the picture on the screen that you should be presenting, or?
Let me see. Reproduce. How about that?
Picture of some mountains.
Nope. So it's not correct.
Okay, so maybe your other screen or.
I say it tells me that I'm sharing the screen here. Should I?
Yes. Are you working off two screens by any chance?
Let me see. No, you're probably watching my save screen. It's
yes.
not the presentation. So I tried to share it before with Avion, and it worked fine. I don't know what's happening right now. You have it, by the way, if you want to show it on your own.
Okay, we can do that. Maybe just stop sharing for a moment, okay. Anna.
I'm really sorry about that.
And
so I can tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing while you work on the presentation. So FAO define carbon farm, conservation agriculture when you have three different pillars that are a minimum disturbance of the soil associated with the use of cover crops and different crop rotations. So I started myself on the farm with this in 2005, and the region Veneto, as long as other regions in the along the Po Valley in Italy, northern part of Italy, have developed a scheme for environmental measures that follow these steps. And that was a while ago. So we have quite an experience on the matter, and a very good live project, which is called Help Soil, has been worked on for several years. Stefano Brenna, who's part of your project, is leading on that, and he can give you all the information that I probably won't be able to share with you. So we can go to the next slide. We can move on to the slide. Okay, excellent. So the question was, how do farmers perceive carbon farming? And I'll tell you that it's not always clear message. Someone do understand, others really are confused. What is clear for everybody that is the role of soil organic carbon, and how much this is the key for the fertility of the farm. So working on whatever increases the carbon into the soil, it's important. And farmers are aware of that. They're also very much afraid of the fact that in many regions, the amount of soil organic matter is decreasing, and it's reaching the level before 1%, which is really scary sometimes. So, and as a matter of fact, we were able to prove, and the Life Up Soil has helped on that, working on conservation agriculture, someone refers to it as regenerative agriculture as well, because it regenerates the soil. It's not just a conservation, it's something that improves the soil. Has led to an increase of the fertility of the soil and soil organic matter. So this is what it's very clear for the farmers. The amount of soil organic carbon is very much important, and we need to work on that. The pictures that you are watching right now on the screen are from the farm that I'm running, and you will see corn, wheat, and a combination of an intercropping of soybean and buckwheat. We tend, in conservation agriculture, we tend to differentiate as much as possible, and every year it's a new year. There is nothing that is that you can actually redo, but you really need to think about it, and that's where we'll go to the second point on the second slide, because we do need a lot of research. Farmers understand that when they take care of the soil carbon, they also deliver services such as CO2 sequestration and its stable incorporation into the soil, where it becomes our fertility. At the same time, greenhouse gases can be highly reduced. Just think about the fact that in conservation agriculture, we use about 60–70% less of the fossil fuel that is normally used for conventional agriculture. And this is part of the new Green Deal, green business, if you want to call it like this way. But it's also something out of the CAP that I see as the beginning of a new relationship with citizens. As a matter of fact, as has been already said previously, the role of agriculture it's a key role, because agriculture is not only but the major sector that is able to actually sequestrate CO2 from the atmosphere and stably incorporate it into the soil. I'm talking about agriculture, but of course forestry comes along. So is it easy? No, it's not. I tell you, it's not easy. I've been crying when I started to work on that. And I imported my first and already only planter from South America. I've been going through a series of different and very difficult times. But after years, I'm very happy about that. And when people come over to the farm and see what we're doing on the farm, I always tell them that to pick up some of the leftover stalks and smell the soil, because the smell of the soil is completely different. You will never find anything like that on a conventional farming, and it looks like a forest soil. So going back to the question, what do we need? Because we need a lot as far as research. We've been doing trials on our own. We spend a lot of money on mistakes, and I really would like that not to happen to my colleagues, because if we want this to be implemented, it has to be feasible, it has to be economical, it has to be profitable. Here I mainly talk about conservation agriculture because this is what I know, but agroforestation is another team, and we like agroforestation. It's just that so far we have no experience of something that has been really profitable. So research on that would be more than welcome. And if we talk about someone talk about the difficulty with having hedges around the plots, and I tell you that this is difficult. But it's not just the edges, it's also to clean it up and making it okay for the rest of the farm to be run nicely. But this is just one aspect of agroforestation. We can also have animals, and we can also sometimes have farming in between the rows of trees. But I think more research has to be done on this fact, because so far we even some of the measures on the second pillar that have been proposed have found no response. So going back to conservation agriculture, what do we need? Planters. No-till planters are still imported, most of them from the Americas, and they're fine, but we have a great success story of farm machinery in Europe, and we should work on machinery that are not just connected to our soils that are different, and that are so different from one place to the other. In 100 kilometers, you can find completely different soil, and the being effective in conservation agriculture is being affecting on the planting. First of all, is the only operation we do in the soil. Also interseeding, companion cropping, multiple species cover crops, and their different use. On the right hand side here, you can see the hand of my business partner who's moving around the residues and showing the first cover crops that are coming up, germinating from stables of a that was rye. Yes, right. Used as a cover crop. And so we have a lot to learn. There are cover crops that are very good for controlling weeds on the following crop. There are others that have a completely different use. So catch crops, cover crops, those are really nice, but we need to work on that. The right timing of planting, be aware that in conservation agriculture, the soil is never bare, never, ever. And I can tell you that the biodiversity booms both into the soil and out on above ground. Not just different species, but also earthworms of different kinds all over the places. And you can see on the right left hand side maybe a little bit, but it's not showing much. This is another type of cover crop, as you can see, and over different some stables. And earthworms are our engineers. They work all year round, especially in the winter time. They eat a lot, so everything you leave on the ground, they will work on it, and they're really nice. But also research on the use of generally recognized as safe microorganisms, biostimulants and adjuvants that will help to decrease the active principle of the products that we use to on the farm for the production. We talked about, someone, probably Felix, talked about biochar digested. These are also two, and I'm talking about agriculture-based biogas digested. Also biochar, I didn't even know that there was a possibility of having biochar with contaminants. No, we have to be really careful about whatever we put on the soil and into the soil, because the memory of the soil goes beyond ourselves and for the future of the next generations to come. So both of biochar and digesters are a nice way of nice resources of carbon, but we really need to be careful. Also, implementing accessible precision farming that doesn't have to be so costly, because most of the farmers cannot afford this, and data should be of the farmers, not of the company that is selling the tools. Once again, something that has been talked about before, training. It's crucial in order not to avoid mistakes and in order to evolve, because this is a practice that it evolves year after year. But this has to be done mostly on farm. It's not something you can do indoor. And so we really need people that are trained and then can come over to the farm when you're planting and telling you how to do a better job. Also sharing among farmers and having farmers moving from one place to the other, which is hard to do, I tell you, because I have to deal with my associates. It's not easy to move a farmer from one place to the other, but when they do it, they learn a lot and they can start sharing a lot. I have a really nice experience from many years ago in Argentina. There are groups that get together on the farm with a researcher, an academic, and also people from different companies, and they share whatever they see on the farm. They point out mistakes, and everyone gives an advice on how this could be done in a different way. So it's a learn by doing. And going back to the carbon farming, I really think this could be an excellent, and carbon credits, I really think this could be an excellent tool, both for the farmer to achieve an extra income, besides the fact that it has done something good for his farm. And but this has to be a rewarder on the final part of the value chain. So if we go to the package of cookies or a package of pasta that is actually showing that this pasta that you are buying as sequestrated carbon, has done something good for the environment, I think this would be the beginning of a new relationship with citizens. And someone maybe will stop by when we farm and say, thanks for doing whatever you're doing, not just what are you doing? So I give it back to you, David, and ready for the questions.
Thank you very much, Anna, for a nice overview and perspective from the farmers. I have a first question, I suppose, in terms of the measures. You have many practices and farm managements that you're employing there within the region. How have these been selected? Obviously, there's many agronomic practices that are good for agronomy, good for crop production, crop quality, nutrient management, etc. Have you gauged these management practices in terms of carbon and carbon sequestration?
I'm not sure I did understand.
So the aspect of carbon is relatively new, and carbon sequestration.
Yeah.
So many of these practices are employed by farmers right across Europe for other benefits. They're other agronomic and that. How have you selected, or have you selected these in terms of their carbon sequestration potential as a new aspect?
Okay, let's say the overall system brings you several benefits. One is the amount of water that you need for your cultivations, that are definitely less, and the let's say the resilient that you the system is more resilient. You're not afraid of all these ups and downs of the climate as much as in conventional agriculture. So when I started, I didn't start. I wasn't aware of anything that could be done with carbon sequestration. I done it because I thought it was good for the soil, and I've seen that in South America, and I started to question myself. But maybe we can do it in a different way, and every year is a different way, and something more that you can add up to the system. So I'm not sure I'm answering to your question, because you probably are looking for something else.
No, not necessarily. I think, I suppose, considering multiple benefits of these measures, I think is a more holistic way for farmers to look at things. So
yeah.
I think it leads to, I suppose, your last point in terms of training, and that I suppose there is a large training requirement there for farmers to get on board with this new area. What do you see as being the main characteristics of that training? You mentioned learn by doing, but what other information might be required?
Recently, I had many young farmers coming over to the farm, and I noticed that they were trained by looking to videos on the internet. That's the way they get to know something more. So probably this could be something we could implement more. I've noticed that most of the time they don't read much. So it's learn by doing and watching, probably more than reading. So working on effective videos that could be shared all over Europe, that would be a nice way to make distance shorter. But then again, you need to be there, and maybe I did have a very good confrontations, both with other farmers and academians that are into the subject, and that has helped me a lot.
Yeah, and I think it is critical that, I suppose, we as researchers or others in the field, advisory services, etc., do communicate with media that are here and now, that are the way that farmers want to receive the information. A number of comments or questions in relation to, you mentioned biochar, maybe even biofertilizers, etc. Concerning the use of digestate, I don't know whether you have experience with that. The comment is more so, what about the risk of antibiotic resistance genes, etc., being, so contaminants, we'll call it, getting into the system, getting into the soils, etc. And you mentioned, food and pasta or cookies or whatever, and having a carbon stamp on them or a carbon credit on the label. What about these other aspects? Is there concern out there in terms of you know, putting potential contaminants into soils?
I'm very much aware of that. Personally, I'm also running a biogas plant. I know exactly what we put in, and I know from experience how wonderful a digester can be. But I know also that this regards whatever you put into the biogas for the fermentation. So that's crucial. When we talk about a circular economy, we have to be very careful. I know my biogas plant, and I will be safe with that. But are we safe with every biogas plant? I'm not sure.
Okay. Final question, or that from Susanna, and that's in terms of the labeling scheme you mentioned. Is it something like an organic label on how can we make the consumers inspired to buy it?
Okay, that's a good question. It's interesting. I think we could work on it. And recently I found a lot of interest about consumers regarding climate change, and regarding the history that this package of pasta can show to you and tell you about how it has been made, and what is the carbon footprint and water footprint that it leaves behind. So people are more concerned about that.
Okay. Okay. Look, thank you, Anna, for your very informative presentation and perspective from the farmers. I think it's very important to get all the stakeholders involved in this perspectives, and I suppose to come up with a solution that works for everybody. So thank you very much. There's